Present live streaming content that is presented in this telecast is owned by MaxSpeed TV, Rudy Cummings, and the entire crew of MSTV. This may not be rebroadcasted, retransmitted, and retelevised without written consent. Please enjoy today's broadcast. And we welcome everybody back here live for the iSCAR RaceLab's Cup Series. Round number 13 about to go underway here in just a moment as we get set to go green for 134 laps of racing. 200 miles about to go into the books here at Chicagoland. And man, an important night for all these drivers within the bubble to get themselves secure in for that top 13 for next week's chase. And we're glad to tune you here in for tonight's main event. My name is Ezeckiel Reyes.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. Thank you all for tuning in here for tonight's event, the second of the 3 chase cutoff races we've got here in store this weekend. If you watched the truck race at Bristol last night, it was certainly something, but a whole different racetrack here in Chicagoland that these drivers will have to navigate their way around to determine if they will make it into the 13-car chase, and we might as well dive right in to those point standings and see where everybody sits. Christopher Weil with a 1-point lead over Nick Miller for the regular season championship. That 41 locked up the Truck Series regular season championship last night, so trying to win 2 of them here in tonight's race. Looking back towards that bubble, David Bachman in that 84, currently the last car in, with Casey Drake sitting 9 points behind. So we need to see who around that bubble is here and who is not here to see how much of a battle we're going to end up having. But there's still quite a few drivers with mathematically within that 84.
No doubt about it, and it's going to be interesting to see and how it'll all shape out toward the end of it, but we'll go ahead and pull up practice standings here on the left-hand side of the screen. Some of these times are pretty fluctuated. These times right here that we're seeing displayed aren't the times that these drivers are going to run in qualifying. I expect the times to be slower during qualifying because the draft just plays such a big role into how this race gets ran. And once we see some single car runs being placed down, I'm very curious on how big of a fall off you're going to be without a draft here around Chicagoland. And that's going to be the talk of the day probably on how these drivers will situate themselves for through the pack. And of course, as the long run progresses, it's going to be harder to pass, and who's going to save the more tires for the end and, of course, take advantage of the draft.
I think we're probably going to see at least, 3, 4, maybe even 5 tenths of a fall off between the laps you're seeing right now and the ones that these guys are going to put down in qualifying. But, of course, a totally different track, as I mentioned, than last night at Bristol, where now all of a sudden draft is going to become a factor that, of course, a track like Bristol will almost never, ever see. So it's not really a super speedway, but it does have a couple of super speedway characteristics where you can maybe use the draft to your advantage to try to advance yourself a couple of spots, and you never know, those couple spots can be the difference between getting in and missing out.
Yep, that is right. Hence why it's an important night here at Chicagoland to determine this top 13 on how it will all situate itself by the end of it. And on our way to Dylan Basin, currently up top. Connor Brandon only a 1/1000th right behind in second place. Parker White in the 095 picked up his first ever win just last week. So that 095 with his momentum and such like that, he currently sits pretty in I think looks like 7th or 8th in points. But that 095, a lot of momentum on his side coming in here.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily expect it, but I think it's possible you could maybe see a Chase Elliott type run from that 095, where once he finally breaks through and wins, he just rings off 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 in a season. I don't know if we'll see him win that many times here, but I think maybe throughout this season and into next one, that 095 definitely going to be one to watch. But that will conclude practice here, so we'll scoot ourselves off to the side just for a couple of brief moments as we play the national anthem. So rise up and remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors.
And we welcome everybody back here live for the iSCAR RaceLab's Cup Series. Drivers getting themselves set around this 1.5 mile tri-oval. Currently qualifying underway as we watch the drivers take their fastest two and get themselves set up. Currently sitting on top. How about that? The 92 Connor Brandon up front, but right alongside of him, look at that, the 61 Hunter Up, who had a phenomenal Bristol run.
Yeah, a lot of momentum on that 61 side. Ran top 5 for pretty much the entire second half of the race, and I believe ended up in either 4th or 5th. So definitely one of the best runs of the year, along with Eldora, that 61 has had. And for right now, sits second on the charts, so this could be a bit of a momentum boost there for Hunter. I don't think he's near the playoffs as Cole Williams takes the pole away from Connor, but if he can get a top 5 start right here, maybe this could be a second race in a row where he can surprise some people and get a really good finish.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll just have to find out how it'll all work out for him as Diallo works himself to the top of the chart. And number 18 looking as fast as he was at Bristol before he got wrecked down. Of course, controversy surrounding about that and that big wreck with Josh Patterson.
He was flying before he got wrecked. He was making, I think, 3/10 per lap up on the two Hunters. So we'll see if he can bring that into tonight. And at least from what we've seen so far in qualifying, it looks like he has. As Parker White in the 095, he'll jump up into that second spot. So Rupp still sitting in 5th for right now, which is still a really good qualifying run. As you get a look here at the 84, Bachman coming into tonight 13th in points. Right now, the last car in to this 13-car chase. So he needs to have a really, really strong run tonight and avoid any mistakes or any trouble to ensure that he can get himself into his first ever chase here in iSCAR.
Yeah, that's right. What an upset it would be to have that 34 be one of those 13 drivers to work themselves forward. Wasn't really talked about this whole entire season, but man, he had a really, really strong run in the Truck Series just yesterday. So we know he has the speed to make some top 5 runs. And the 84, I wouldn't say he's been contentive. He just hasn't been that person to really step up, at least for right now. But we'll just have to see on how the 84 will shape out once we head ourselves coming into next week.
Yeah, and it's not meant to be like, you know, like a mean sentence or anything, or, you know, dejecting or anything, but he's kind of just, you know, there. Like,
Right.
he's not really standing out. He doesn't cause a whole lot of trouble. He's just, you know, runs mid-pack for a lot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because he's been consistent enough to get himself in this 13-car chase. So I guess for the time being, what he's doing has worked. He just has to make it work for one more race here tonight, as we'll get ourselves here into the warm-ups. And I believe Nick Miller may have stolen the pole before that qualifying session ended.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but
I think he might have.
he might have.
Unless the picker's lying to me.
Oh, it seems as though the warm-up has been skipped.
Oh.
So we'll go ahead and fling ourselves into qualifying in here for tonight. And you are right,
did.
Nick Miller did steal the pole over Omar
Last
Diallo in that
second.
number 18. And I know Nick won the red line race previously at Chicagoland, so I'm curious on how the 95 will tackle here tonight. And of course, Diallo in that number 18, he too very, very fast. We'll have to see on how he does here tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think Christopher Weil is here, so Nick is in prime position here to take the regular season championship. Parker White there in third, and he'll be starting with Cole Williams, who's outside there in the fourth spot.
Connor Brandon in the number 92, displayed as Connie Brandon. Hunter up in the number 61. He's going to be right alongside him.
Row 4, Brody Gardner in the 55, one of our chasers here, and Michael Bianchini also in this 13-car chase in 8th.
He got sort of lucky. Of course, he got suspended after that big wreck at Talladega down the back straightaway. So he actually volunteered to, play a role into that penalty. He got suspended for
Things
2 weeks.
happened. Justin Johnson, great qualifying run for him there in the 33 after a great showing in one of the Talladega races. And Joe Burgey in the 83. And that will be the rest of the top 10. So the rest of the order will be shown on the bottom of your screen. Pick your favorite driver and hope they win. There's Bachman. Looks like he'll roll off 16th here for tonight's race. Malachi Drake, one of the chasers. Schmidt, I believe, is only 2 points behind Miller. So that's 79 also with a chance to get the regular season title here tonight. And it looks like it's going to be either 28 or 29 cars. I'm not sure if Benjamin's going to grid. So pretty decent-sized field and around the same size that we had last night, which means that less points are available than if we had a regular 43-car field, which means for anybody that's outside the bubble that's here tonight that's trying to get by Bachman, they basically need to max out on points and hope that 84 runs into a lot of trouble and maybe retires early.
Yeah, we saw him get into a bit of trouble last night in the truck series, so we'll just have to see on how it all play out for David Bachman and that number 84. But in the meantime of that, Nick Miller grids himself up, waiting for one more driver, or Hunter Rupp, who's not going to grid. Unfortunate for that number 61, but in the meantime of that, Nick Miller in the 95 will lead us to the green.
We'll see if that's a pit start for the 61 or maybe just something came up. But race analysis here at Chicagoland, despite it no longer being on the Cup Series schedule, we decided, you know what, we're going to run it here anyway. 1.5 miles here in Joliet, Illinois. Time of day, afternoon, so it should be a pretty hot and slick track out there. Pit road speed, 50 miles per hour, so a bit of a tricky one, but nothing too crazy compared to other tracks we go to. 5 tire sets at these drivers' disposal to manage and plan their race around, and a fuel window of 55 to 60 laps. So it should be a 2-stop race and maybe 3 if you decide to short pit. And there's your track temp of 83. So yeah, pretty slick surface here, and just a bit of wind out of the northwest. So the pace lights are already off here, so we're going to go green this time, as the 95 of Nick Miller trying to take that regular season champion away from his teammate Christopher Weil, who is not here tonight, and only has to pick up 2 points to get there. So we'll see if he can do it. And I'm curious to see who could win this race. I think this could be a pretty wide open field here in terms of who might take the checkered flag.
Yeah, we saw that Auto Club in which the draft played a huge factor into that amazing race from start to finish, and we'll just have to we'll have to see how it will all play out here tonight. Ooh. Green flag is out, up and away. 134 laps, 200 miles going to go into the books.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a stack up there. They're going to go 3 wide further back in the field into turn 1 as they try to get themselves situated here for the first time tonight. And indeed, there's some 3 wide around the middle of the pack. Hopefully they don't wreck this early But they're still pretty close together as Miller tries to defend the bottom here in the 3.
Yeah. Oh! Williams up in the wall!
No. Big hit for the 42. Oh, the 8 almost went around, and they're still making contact up there. And it looks like the 93.
Oh, it's Corey Long!
Yeah, the 93 has just gotten collected. I'm not sure where Corey sits in points, but a big hit for him on lap number 1. His whole front end's gone. So a big, big wreck here on lap number 1. So we'll see what happened with the 42, because he just shot right up into the outside wall.
Oh, it seems as though contact with...
Oh, no. Oh, Corey.
Corey just nowhere to go, but there was contact with the 55 of Garner and the 42. Looks like Garner was trying to split the middle between himself and the 92, and...
Did the 42 come down a little bit?
I think Cole probably anticipated that.
Maybe Brody wouldn't have been there?
Yeah, Brody wouldn't have been there. I mean, he was trying to take it 3 wide into the corner, and somebody must have clipped. Oh man, that's a hit.
Yeah, and there was some more further up with AJ Bain. He almost got turned like 3 different times. Ooh. Gets run into by Basin, gets run into again. They all stack up on the bottom, and Basin ends up going through the grass, but I think they all kept it straight. But that's going to, or almost straight, but that's going to leave some more cars with some damage, as that's the 028 of Jack and Andrew, who spun there on the apron. And I think this is all reactionary, people slowing down for the wreck, and they all just ran right over each other. And so that 028 is going to probably have some rear end and front end damage, as well as that 08. And there they are, both on pit road already.
I don't think it's going to be as much optional. They could easily get it repaired under this ensuing caution, but yeah, that was messy. We'll get another restart at it here in just a moment as we get situated under this caution. So Miller leads, White in second now, and Diallo files himself into third. Connor, Wynn, Johnson, other Johnson, Hess, and Sheen, and Bachman right at the top 10.
Yeah, the 84 started in 16th, so he gained 6 spots on that first lap. So about as good of a first lap as you can have. Actually, it looks like it's now shown in 14th. But even 1 spot that early in the... Okay, now it's in 10th. But yeah, a really, really good first lap for that 84. We'll see if he can gain more than that over this next couple laps and off the restart. But already getting up towards the front definitely is going to help his chances of getting into this chase.
A lot of people pit that last this first caution. It seems as though everybody from 15th on down hit pit road. So looks like most of them either opted out with optional damage and or fuel only.
And the 93, I believe, is going to be done for the day. And the 42, I would assume, might be as well. So for Hunter Johnson, I believe Corey's out there still. But I think Hunter was originally in striking distance. But with these cars retiring early, that's 2 less points that 12 can gain on the 84 to try to get himself in.
That's very unfortunate. It'll just have to play out in some shape, way, or form for that 12 to boost himself forward.
Green flag,
as we take the green here on lap number 5 out of 134. Miller drops himself to the apron to shortcut it a bit. This will drag the 18 and Diallo forward. And they're ready, looking just about 3 wide into turn number 1.
Yeah, indeed they are already 3 wide. As there's Garrett Hess and Liam Sheen and Justin Johnson. And the 95 starting to pull away just a little bit. But I think the draft that these guys can get down the backstretch should easily negate that, probably in the next couple of corners. As here comes Diallo leading that charge on the bottom. And indeed, they've already caught back up with that 95.
Wow, Miller, he was planning to wash himself up, and
good
seems
move
as
by
though,
Diallo there.
Diallo kept himself down low, and look at the amount of pinching he's going to do to that number 95. So Diallo now to the high side of him for the race lead, and he might have it down the back straightaway. Indeed, he clears the 95, so move the 18 to the first place, and it seems as though Parker White wants to work in forward with that, but...
And can Diallo clear? He can't quite do it. And I think now he finally does out of turn 4, so a solid move there for Diallo to get the lead. But here comes Miller already trying to attack again on that apron. We'll see if he can get the nose under here in the 1, and he does not.
Oh, Kyler in the 084 got a bit loose there. Had to correct the car right in the middle of the corner, and unfortunately for him, lost a bit of momentum, so White scoots himself into second, so Miller's slowly falling back now into the hands of the 92, Connor Brandon.
Yeah, it looks like this high side has got a bit of something going here. That's now looks like 2 or 3 cars that have gotten by Nick on that high side, whether it be on the tri or the backstretch, which is not something we typically see a whole lot at 1.5-mile tracks. So this is definitely something to watch as Miller hits the apron. You definitely don't want to do that, and that's going to cost him, looks like, 2 more spots to Kyler and Hunter and maybe Liam Sheen.
Yeah, man. Nick got really loose off of turn number 2 and had to chase the car around and finally corrected it, but unfortunately paid the price. Now battle all the way back to 7th, so your pole sitter is fading a bit more as we got a battle heating up for the lead. Omar Diallo and Parker White about to go at it hand in hand. It's turn number 1.
Yeah, Parker's been one of the most consistent drivers across the board here this season and finally broke through and won at Sonoma in one of the most dominating road course victories we've ever seen here in iSCAR, trying to follow that up with perhaps another win tonight as he's already running in that 2nd spot. And it looks like Miller's going to lose another spot here to Garrett Hess in the 91 and potentially Johnson here perhaps into turn 1. So 95 starting to trend in the wrong direction here after leading these opening laps.
Hunter Johnson works himself down low. The 084 Kyler win is Kyler. A nice top 5 run by him for right now, but seems as though in the hands of that number 12. Side by side for this 4th spot as they also fan out right behind. In the meantime of that, this is allowing the top 3 to slowly get themselves into a nice rhythm and pull themselves away. White gets loose off of turn number 2. Chase the car up the racetrack, but luckily the high spoiler on his machine keeps him forward, but might have lost a bit of momentum there, and I'll have to use that back the draft to reel back that number 18 of Diallo.
Looks like the field's starting to spread out just a little bit. You look back from the leader to 10th place Brody Gardner, already a 2-second gap between those 2 cars. So as this run starts to go further and further onward, I think these cars may start to spread out just a bit more. And speaking of cars near the top 10, there's Max Yerrick in the 6 having a solid run so far tonight. And there's William Schmidt in the 79. So Schmidt started, I believe, closer to 20th, and he's only a handful of spots behind Nick Miller now. So this 79 with this good run early, starting to get himself in contention and maybe take this regular season title away.
Whoa, man, what a run by the 6. He got a nice corner into 1 and 2, and it opens up the door and also reels in the 79 of Schmidt as Brody tries to maybe cut out the 79 as Schmidt washes up the racetrack, and Brody's just about all over the place.
And I think Schmidt's going to have a run up high here, but Burgess not going to go with either of them as they'll just split the middle here. But I think Schmidt may have a run here. Oh, and Brody almost gets into him again. That 55 is really squirrely here, and Schmidt will indeed clear. And that 55 seems to be pretty loose right now. We'll see if he can get that squared away here before he loses more spots. It looks like Hess might take one here, I believe, for 12th. Oh no, man. They almost made contact.
Yeah, Brody's all over the place right now. But Hess hit the apron and nearly got into the 55, so Gardner's going to have a bit of a cushion. A little bit of breathing room for now, but jams up everybody from 13th on back. Sawyer St. Clair, I was about to say Benjamin White. There's Benjamin in the 36.
Yeah, that 4 got a top 10 at Bristol last night. I don't know if that's his first ever iSCAR top 10, but one of the few he's had. That entire top 10 was really wacky last night. I mean, it was full of guys you would almost never expect to be up there. But it was one of the more feel-good races of the year in terms of where people finished. So we'll see if that 4 can follow that up with another good run, just like Bachman is right now, sitting in 9th.
2x2, entering turn number 3. Connor Brandon trying to clear the 1 of Liam Sheen. He does so, but Connor's going to hold up the high side for now, try to pinch down the 1 who tags the apron. Even though he tagged the apron, it still keeps him forward as Miller files into line. And how about Justin Johnson at the 33 into the picture? He's running in 8th spot, sort of looking at this battle right in front of him, trying to find out on where he wants to go as... Oh,
man. Another close call there with Sheen and Brandon, as I think the 1 washed up the hill a bit. But no harm, no foul, but that will give the 92 the position. And we'll see Johnson, I think, thought about taking it underneath Miller. The 95 jumps down faster. And we'll see as we go on board here with that 33 of Johnson. Sitting pat right now behind that 95, but see if he sends it here into 1 on the low side. And there he goes.
Miller wide corner right there. 95 trying to use the wall, and looks like he'll nose at the quarter panel of that 33.
I think Justin might get him here into 3, and there he goes. So nice pass there for Justin, puts him up into 7th place here on lap 17. Meanwhile, up front, Hunter Johnson now has worked his way into that third spot, I believe from around 15th or so. But Parker and Diallo is still leading this field as you get closer to lap 20 here.
Yeah, it seems as though Hunter came in on, looks like, started himself all the way back in 11th. Has now worked himself into 3rd place in the midst of all of that. Sort of catching in with his top 2, so Hunter seems as though he's the fastest car out on the racetrack right now, catching this 095, so if they get side by side for 2nd spot, of course, Omar's going to pull away even further with that lead. And see right there off the corner, Hunter like hugging the bottom more than Parker is. Parker is letting the car naturally wash up the corner. It's going to save him some time, not some time, but some tire doing that, but he's losing some time in the process.
Yeah, Diallo starting to pull away a bit from the 095. Looks like that gap now just a bit over half a second here. Further back in the field, Miller still sits in 7th right now, and Schmidt, I believe, is sitting at 11th. And the significance there is, again, Miller only came in 2 points ahead of Schmidt and only 1 point behind Weil for that top spot in points. So even though the regular season championship doesn't necessarily mean anything, definitely some bragging rights on the line if you're that 79 and that 95. As I think they're both going to definitely get by the 41 tonight, but who will end up getting that top spot going into the chase?
You have to find out and see as Gardner gets loose off the corner again and cuts out the 4 of Sawyer St. Clair. Malachi Drake, luckily to the high side of that. No, he might take it maybe 2 for 1 into the corner as Brody's just all over the place as Brody washes up right up against the wall.
Last night's winner, Malachi Drake in the 90, after a great pit strategy with about 20 laps to go, came down and took tires when a lot of people stayed out and ended up winning the race by about 4 seconds. As Schmidt gets by the 84 of Bachmann, that is 4/10th. So put that 79 now into the top 10 for the first time in tonight's race. But even though Bachmann fell to the top 10, still doing a really good job there in that 11th spot, doing everything he can to stay in that 13th spot here in this race. So with Casey, I think 14th, not here. He has a bit of a buffer between himself and Hunter. I believe came in 16th or 17th there in points tonight.
Speaking of Hunter, that number 12 just worked himself into 2nd place, so the 12 is fast, and he's now trying to close the gap between himself and Diallo for now. A lot of cars not on the apron. It seems as though they want to keep themselves on the banking to prevent more tire loss. Schmidt running right up against the 2nd groove. It's probably the widest I've seen these people run around this racetrack in this tire model, as they go side by side. Basin works himself to the underside of David Bachmann for that position. We'll see if Bachmann, if he could hold that high side. Very curious about how it could work for him.
It's for 11th. And looks like the Basin would get it at the line, and Malachi right behind him, as there's a 93 of Corey just trying to log some laps at this point on that bottom side.
Whoa!
And Bachmann goes way up the hill and almost gets into the wall. And that's going to the 90, I believe, to get a run here on the bottom side down the backstretch. And indeed he does. So this is going to be for 12th place. So Bachmann's starting to lose a couple spots that he gained on that first lap. But hopefully he can stop the bleeding and try to get himself in a comfortable groove here and try to hold on maybe around 12th or 13th place.
Yeah, Bachmann, he got loose because Corey Long played a big factor into that exchange. Long in the 93 just held the bottom, and they sort of had to take it 2 wide into the corner. And Bachmann, being on the high side, 3 wide, lost most of it, as you see the blocking here. 55 of Garner losing a lot of ground to these drivers right in front of him.
That's Andy McDowell in the 20. Oh, no, that's Luke Lafaro. Andy not here. Lafaro's run a couple different numbers here over the last couple weeks. Looks like he's in the 20 tonight as he tries to take away. It looks like that's for 16th place. Oh, and they make contact there into turn 1, and that's going to give Brody the spot back. And here comes Jack DeAndre in the 028 trying to get both spots here down the backstretch.
Brody's blocking here for the 16th spot, and now opens up the door for DeAndre inside.
Oh, and close call there. I think Brody came in around 11th or 12th in points. He's somewhere around that bubble. So I can understand why he's doing that, but it's still fairly early. Still over 100 laps to go in tonight's race. So I can understand the thought process, but maybe not this early in the run.
Sheen just about sideways trying to look around that number 95 of Miller as he works in a 3.
Yeah, Miller looks like he's settled in here after falling from the pole spot. Looks like he's been in 6th now. He was in 7th and 8th earlier. So starting to find a good groove here for what's been quite a long green flag run here. We had that first lap wreck, and it's been smooth sailing since for right now. And Urich in the 6th still doing a good job as well, sitting in 9th. So a couple good guys that had some good runs last night or recently, following that up with another one here tonight.
Schmidt and Basin go side by side in the 3, the 79, trying to work up the second groove as Basin a bit sideways there, but you see that bottom side starting to get more rubbered in, and I expect as we progress with the night, that bottom side is going to be where you want to go for the time being. But Schmidt's still holding up nicely for now. He used the wall trying to get that arrow effect to his advantage. Unfortunately, he lost at least 3 car lengths there to that 08 of Basin, who moves himself into 10th spot. And he's gunning for 9th as Max Urich in the 6 is slowly fading as well.
That 08's been one of the fastest cars on track over these last couple laps. Was just in 12th or 13th not that long ago. And here he's trying to gun for 9th on that 6. And Urich's going to block that 08 here into turn 1. But I think that might just be delaying the inevitable because that 08 is flying here up high. I think he might have the advantage here out of 2.
Yep, that's right. Now goes to the high side of the 6 of Urich. And the 3 they go. Urich. Oh, looks like he missed the bottom. Sort of scared Basin up the racetrack. And Malachi's going to have a run because of it. Malachi's probably going to have to take it to the apron to make something happen of it. 3 wide. Nope, Urich blocks him.
And he's got to watch out. I thought he was going to come up into Basin and just about did there. And Malachi ended up having to let off. But Basin will clear that 6 as Sawyer St. Clair gets way up the hill there and almost runs into the 79, and that's going to cost Schmidt quite a bit of momentum, and he'll have to try again here in the next turn.
These drivers are... Seems as though they're aero loose and mechanical tight. By means of that, the suck-up that these machines provide for the cars behind them gets them aero loose. But the car by itself seems as though it's just tight. So we're sort of having a in-betweenish battle. I wouldn't say the car is balanced because it's still pointing in one way. More on the loose side, I guess you could say, but a lot of drivers are really struggling with their race cars as of right now.
Yeah, we've been watching all race the struggles that Brody Gardner's had for a good chunk of the night. He looks like he settled in around 16th now, but he was really dropping from the top 5. And we mentioned Bachman sitting up there in 9th. Looks like he's now faded back to about 17th. So it looks like he's actually lost a spot overall now. And Urich's going to get the wall here out of turn 2, and that's going to cost him some time. But unfortunately, Bachman wasn't quite able to keep that pace. But for right now, still the last car in the chase.
Bergie's going to slide himself into 12th because the 6 hit the wall. So Urich falls all the way back to 13th. As he goes side by side right behind Jack DeAndre and William Schmidt, going to go at it. And look at the gap between Diallo and Hunter. It's closed now to 4/10 between these top 2. So Hunter seems as though he has something for this number 18.
And the 2 of them have pulled away from Parker White. Looks like it's about a 1.5 seconds between the 12 and the 095. So these top 2 looks like the clear-cut favorites here for tonight's race as we hit, looks like, the 30 lap mark of the screen run. So we'll see if that 12 has got anything for the 18, but like Parker White, Diallo has been one of the best cars no matter what track it is and what vehicle it is. That 18's been bad, fast everywhere, and showing just that again tonight as he still leads here as we get closer to the lap 50 mark.
So, if you want to stop it, you're gonna have to either A, use up the fuel. I mean, A, stretch it all the way to the end of this fuel mark, or B, split the run into thirds. So I think we're gonna see two different strategies based off of that. So if you want to split the run into thirds, you're gonna have to pit every 44-ish laps. And that'll, of course, pitting a bit earlier is gonna allow a bit more leverage to make it all the way to the end on fuel. Yeah, but if you wanna stretch the fuel all the way, it's gonna be 55 to 60-ish laps. So
and, I mean, I don't know if this is gonna go green all the way, but if it does, I mean, 60, 65 laps maybe. Do you see a scenario where if this thing goes green all the way, somebody might try to stretch this on one stop and maybe try to make it from around lap 65 or so and maybe stretch it as long as possible?
It is possible, but there's a catch with that. You had to have to pit with that first caution to maybe have enough fuel all the way to the end, because of course you used up a bit of fuel on that first green flag runish, but you're gonna have to top off under that ensuing only caution, and hopefully you'll have enough fuel from there and maybe make something off of that. But those drivers who did hit pit road, in terms of maybe a potential one-stop strategy, are going to be Dylan Basin, Malachi Drake, Sawyer St. Clair, Joe Berge, Jack DeAndrea, William Schmidt, Brody Gardner, Aaron Brown, and Luke LaFaro. So none of these drivers who hit pit road have yet to crack the top 5. Dylan Basin is the highest person who's in that group.
All in a row.
Yeah, all in a row as well.
9th to 15th. It's possible. And Hunter is there. He has caught the 18 of Diallo, so we see the draft starting to play in effect, and here comes the 12, peeking the nose underneath that 18 into turn 1, and he will clear Hunter Johnson to the race lead here on lap number 40, and we'll see if he can start to pull away from Diallo, or maybe Diallo will do the same thing to him back in a couple laps.
I don't know. Was Diallo saving his stuff for that number 12? I mean, for him to like go by, or did Diallo really use up his stuff there during this stint? It seems as though he's slowly starting to fade, but who knows? A few laps difference could make another lead swap up front. But now new leader, the number 12, Hunter Johnson, works himself to the top. Just to see on how it'll all work out for him in the midst of all that. But for these drivers who did hit pit road, it still seems that it's going to be a two-stop strategy for them, but it is viable for them to make it a one-stop strategy if they want to save enough fuel for the end of this run, rather than all the way to the white flag. So,
and that's only going to work if this thing goes green all the way. If we have a caution or two before that, of course, I would expect most people will come down pit road. But in the, I would say, unlikely event that this thing actually goes green for the duration, I think we could see at least one person maybe try to stretch it on one stop all the way. But it's going to be really, really close for anybody that tries it. And it looks like Hunter is indeed starting to pull away just a bit from the 18. That gap now looks like 0.4 of a second, closing in on half a second. So maybe Diallo did use his stuff up here, and Hunter was trying to save a bit. But regardless of that, the 12 now starting to be in a league of his own here, perhaps, over these next couple laps.
Parker White sort of on an island of his own, as well as Kyler Wynn. Meanwhile, battle here for 5th place. Two veterans of the league, Nick Miller, Connor Brennan, worked themselves into turn number 3. Miller seems as though he's fighting back from that big loss he had off the restart. Miller trying to work himself down low, the 92. It seems as though he'll do so successfully, but he won't lead the position at the wire. So, interesting strat right there, as Miller didn't drop himself to the apron to shortcut it. He used the banking to sort of stall out the 92's position. So, that's something about cookie cutter racetracks, in which, you know, tracks like Chicagoland, Kansas, or some tracks that have an apron like this. Michigan. Kentucky, there's another one.
Atlanta's
Las Vegas.
Got a little bit, not really, but barely.
Yeah, just barely. Wow, Kyler hits pit road, so,
was that a spin, or was this planned?
It seems as though it was planned, so maybe that 084 is going to opt for the third strategy. The thirds strategy, not a third strategy, but he's going to split the run into thirds. So he's also joined in by, looks like, oh, Cole Williams is multiple laps down, but Kyler going to take a risky gamble here. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but he came in, looks like, fourth in position, and he's going to be trapped one down. So I'm curious on how this will all work out for him in the meantime of that.
Except there's one small problem, and that is he's not going to be the first car lap down. As you see that Napa machine there of Michael Bianchini right in front of the leader, Hunter Johnson. So that 48's probably going to get lapped here in these next couple of laps. And if that's the case, if the yellow comes out, that 084 is not going to be the lucky dog. And this might be something different. This is a very prolonged pit stop. So he's going to go 2 laps down. This may be something totally unrelated, but
right.
I don't know why he's on there so long. Something may just come up, or maybe he did spin coming into pit road, because it seemed like he came down a bit suddenly.
Now he's out.
There he goes.
So. Might have gotten speeding. I'm not really sure. Because he came in there hot.
Yeah, we'll have to get another look at this. I thought he may have spun or something, or hit the wall maybe. The way the camera just cut over, I don't know if something occurred or... Oh no, he came in normally. Came in a little bit hot.
Oh,
nothing too.
That's speeding maybe. I mean, he locked it down, trying to get it slowed down, so it might have been speeding. I'm not sure.
I don't know why there was such a long pit stop then. That was weird.
Because iRacing black flags on pit road aren't they black flag you yeah, probably a 30-second penalty rather than a drive-through. So
yikes. So that's going to probably put him out of contention now that he's 2 laps down. As Garrett Hess, speaking of, is also now 2 laps down. And Bianchini hasn't quite been caught by Hunter yet, but I'd imagine he will probably get there in the next handful of laps. Bianchini came into tonight 12th in points, so just ahead of David Bachman, who runs in 20th. So only looks like 2 spots separate these guys on track, but Bachman's still a ways away from being lapped. But the 48 essentially is as the leader breathing down his neck right here.
Parker White in the 095. Still sitting in third but still fastest car on the racetrack. Seems as though of these top 3, it's still Hunter Johnson, but Miller is logging in the fastest laps of the top 5. He ran a .3 the last time, as Hunter ran a .41, Omar hit a .5, and Parker hit a .46. So
yeah, back up to 4th now. So we saw that 95 fading a bit on that, like right off the drop of the green, but now looks like he settled in pretty nicely and finds himself in P4. There's the 36 of Benjamin White. He's on pit road, so it looks like this might be a similar strategy to the one Kyler Wynn is going for. So we'll see how this plays for him. He's going to lose at least 1 lap here in the process, and that is a very slow pit stop. I wonder if he just sped as well.
That might.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he missed pit road, so he didn't even...
unsafe entry.
Unsafe entry right there, so...
Yeah.
That might have killed his race.
I didn't expect that was going to be that tricky of a pit entry, but I guess it is. As 2 drivers already with some trouble. And hopefully that might be longer than a 30-second penalty for Benjamin. I wonder if that's a 1-lap hold. Because he's still on there, I believe.
He might have parked it. I'm not really sure.
He might have. But Hunter still leads here. The gap between himself and Diallo now up to a 1.5 seconds after he got by him around 10 or so laps ago. And actually Parker White starting to catch that 18. Those 2 under a second apart as you have a battle here between Burgee and Jack DeAndrea. This, I believe, for 11th. 2 solid runs for those 2 so far tonight.
Yeah, Burgee sits in 11th place, but far away is to that number 4, Sir St. Clair. A lot of people are fairly sped out, and yeah, that's right. That's right. Nice run by that number 4, Sawyer. Currently sits in 10th spot as of right now, trying to catch the 90. But look at the spaces between every single lead lap car. fairly even throughout. 0.7 to Malachi, 0.6 to Basin, 0.8 to Justin. And after that, there's a 3 second, not a 3 second gap, but
it's 13 seconds though from Johnson to St. Clair, so the top 10 is really, really spread out now. As there's that 12. Still isn't caught Bianchini yet, so the 48 and the 12 looks like are on a similar pace. So for right now, I believe the first car lap down is going to be Garrett Hess, but he's 2 laps down. So he'll need 2 cautions to get back on the lead lap.
alright, and we're in our first pit window, and for all these drivers who stayed out this first caution, pretty sure they're going to hit pit road within these next 5 laps.
Well, I'm a bit concerned, though. We've already seen Kyler Wynn and Benjamin White have some issues on pit entry, so we're going to have to see how these guys approach pit entry and hope that they don't do what Benjamin and Kyler just did, because if somebody like Hunter ends up doing that, that'll pretty much kill any chance he has at making this chase. I didn't think Chicagoland was this difficult of a pit entry, but it looks like it's been causing quite a few people problems. Oh, that is not good. As Justin Johnson looks like another one with some pit entry troubles.
He might have sped.
Yeah, I think he may have spun it. Oh, yeah, he definitely sped. And slaps the pit wall there. So that'll be an extended stay for him as well. That's the 3rd one now.
Yeah, just a lot of misjudgment on pit road, but oh, looks like not a speeding penalty, so 14.6.
Just a bad entry.
Just a bad entry, I guess. So now all eyes are on the leader. If Wenning is going to hit pit road, if I were Diallo, I'd probably hit pit road actually earlier than that number 12. So of course you could still one stop it from this point forward as long as you pit right now. So I think this 18 has some options here, as Miller is going to go ahead and fling himself on a pit road. So pit road's open this time by. A lot of people are going to take the gamble to maybe short pit. Miller's one of them.
Hopefully a safe pit road entry for that 95, and he didn't speed or almost spin like some other people we've already seen. And into that first spot he goes for 4 tires in fuel, so that'll shuffle Brandon now into 4th and on track. I believe Diallo may have just come down pit road, or maybe the intervals are a bit wacky. And there indeed, Diallo is in. I believe that's Malachi Drake in the 90. He also on in. So this is interesting because we're going to have 74 laps to go here this time. With a fuel window of around 55 to 60, they can't make it from here on out. So if this thing goes green for the duration of the race, they're going to have to end up pitting somewhere between 10 and 15 laps to go. And I believe Hunter is now in the background.
Yep, that's right. And the 12 works himself down on the pit road. So your leader comes down on in. Pretty sure it's going to be a 4-tire call by that number 12. He's worked himself slowly into his pit stall. And Parker White, he too is also in. Dylan Basin stays himself out, so he'll get the lap led. And Hunter jacks up the left side, the right side tires on his machine.
Liam Sheenan as well in the 1. And St. Clair overshot his pit stall, and looks like it's some more pit road trouble. And another good run's going to take a bit of a hit here as Urich and Johnson make their way off pit road, and it looks like the 12 will retain the race lead here once the 08 comes down. And it looks like a couple other people also yet to pit with the rest of them. There's Bachman in the 84. And it looks like Bachman's lost a lap, at least for now, with Basin staying himself out.
55 at Gardner works himself down on the pit road. Gardner kind of trying to play the longer run strategy, or the short run strategy, by staying himself out longer and having the fresher tires toward this next run. Dylan Basin from the lead works himself on in as Malachi stays himself out.
So maybe that wasn't Malachi that came in. I think maybe it was somebody else that pit that looked like his car. And there's Schmidt down, and as well as Luca Faro in the 20s. That leaves Burgee, DeAndrea Brown, and Malachi yet to come down the pit lane. So pit stop's almost complete as Bill Basin wraps up his stop there. Schmidt in the 79, he makes his way down. Schmidt trying to get that regular season championship away from Nick Miller. And the two of them, I believe, are around 5 or 6 spots apart on track before these pit road stops.
And he just overshot his pit stall. So that 79 had to back it up. So he's going to lose some on-track time. And not only that, it might even be more. Look at that, 20 seconds already.
Uh-oh.
So it's not looking good for that number.
Handed it to Nick.
Yeah, that might have handed the regular season championship.
Did Malachi go fuel only?
No, he's working himself on a pit road.
Well, it said 4.65. I don't know if that was a glitch or...
He probably hit pit road the first cycle, hence why it says 4.65. I mean, as in the first caution.
Diallo just passed Johnson. Oh, and he overshoots another one.
And you mentioned it.
Diallo just got by Johnson, so this is the battle for the lead here with the 90 on pit road. So put that 18 back into the lead. So I think Diallo's car is better on a short run on newer tires, but I think once the tires start to wear out a bit, I think that's when that 12 starts to come alive. So we might see another stretch here of that 18 leading this field, but we might see Hunter catch him down maybe into 15 or 20 laps and potentially get that lead back.
The only thing for Diallo is he's on older tires than that number 12. Diallo has 5 laps out on the racetrack versus Hunter's 4. So again, this is what I expected for Diallo and that number 18 to hit pit road a bit earlier and close the gap between yourself and that number 12 and get the ball rolling. But man, you see how loose that 18 is off the corner. He's gonna wear out a lot of his tire trying to get himself situated into a nice rhythm. And if I was that number 12, I'd actually lay back if I were him. Let Diallo use up his stuff even more, so he'll have a bigger detriment come into this next green flag run.
Yeah, it could be a strategy Hunter decides to employ. We'll see, but looks like Diallo's starting to gain already. That gap now just over 2/10. So maybe Hunter is laying back here. Maybe Diallo's car is just that much better on newer tires. And it looks like those two actually cycled in front of Bianchini, so now he is lapped down. It looks like Urich is now the first car lapped down, so some slower stops for some people. As there's Miller. He cycled back out in 4th, and Justin, despite hitting the pit wall onto pit road, actually cycled ahead of some other people, and he now finds himself in that 6th spot. So a great stop for him, despite the trouble he had. And we'll see if he can maybe get himself into this top 5 before this thing's over.
Now, this is going to be interesting. Since it's now going to be a for sure one-stop race from this point forward, the question is, who's going to hit pit road first? And is it going to be enough to shuffle themselves to the front? I mean, if they try to stretch the fuel all the way from this point forward, they're going to have to pit, again, with at least 15 or 10-ish laps to go. So, do you want to split this run in half and maybe hit pit road around your 44th lap? I mean, or 30-ish lap?
I could see some people maybe pitting within the next 10 or 15 laps. Maybe pit around lap 85, which would put you with about a 50-lap run to the end, which means if other people have to pit with around 10 or 15 to go, you don't have to, and at that point, all you'd basically have to do is just hope you can hold on for 9 laps and hope they don't catch you on newer tires. But of course, the risk there is there are already other cars that are a lap down, so you may end up trapped a lap down behind other people. But we'll see if maybe somebody tries it. I doubt it, but it's something that maybe someone's thinking about, maybe trying to pit almost like immediately after the first time and then run it up to the end.
Just have to see, though. Meantime of that, top 2 still grouped up together. Hunter's just sort of following in the tracks of Diallo for right now. Can't really pass him. Probably sort of letting him go for right now. Again, the 12, maybe saving his stuff for that longer run. But that's what Omar doesn't want to see. If that 12 gets by him, it's game over. See there, Diallo ran lower off of 2 that time.
Yeah, Johnson staying with him, though. He's not falling as far back as he did earlier in the run before he came back and got the lead. So maybe this will allow him to pull ahead quicker than last time and maybe extend that lead to a much bigger margin than before the pit stops just occurred.
I think Hunter being behind that at number 18, the draft, of course, uses up more tire. That number 12 of Johnson can't really get by the Diallo machine for right now, so maybe he's saving up his stuff, who knows, but Hunter seems as though he's sort of stalled for right now. But again, if I were that number 12 or number 18, whoever hits pit road first out of these two will shuffle themselves to the front and probably be in prime position to win this race. For right now, it worked out to the 18's favor, Omar Diallo, but Omar unfortunately is going to have to hit pit road a lap earlier than this number 12 if he wants to stretch it all the way, because he came in pit road 1 lap earlier than that number 12. So a bit of mind games for that number 18 of what he has to play there on lap number 75.
Yeah, just a varying 1 lap or 2 lap strategy call can be the difference, of course, between coming out in first and coming out maybe even third, fourth, or fifth. But with how spread out this field is, and I think it'll reduce the amount of change of positions we'll see in those pit stops later in the races. Here's a battle here. This is for 7th place. It's Basin with a nice run on the bottom side of Liam Sheen here in turn 3. And that 08 looks like we'll pick up that spot, but Liam's hanging tough up high.
Yeah, Basin, of course, got involved in that turn 4 incident. And it seems as though the front end damage has not really affected him, but it's still sort of hiccuping him for right now, sitting in P7.
Bit of a hindrance, but not too much of one.
We got some other battles on the racetrack right here for, it looks like, 10th spot. Luke LaFaro is trying to work around that number 90, Malachi Drake.
Nice run so far for the 20. And Sawyer St. Clair, despite overshooting his pit stall, still runs 9th. So, just like last night at Bristol, we're seeing some other guys have some really strong runs tonight. Mentioned a couple laps ago, Justin Johnson in the 33. He still runs in that 6th spot. So we'll see if he can stay there, but he's got company from Basin. That 08 is flying, and it was one of the fastest cars out on the racetrack right now. So that could be a change of position here shortly.
So we saw the people stretch it all the way to 50-ish. Or was it 60 or 50?
I think 55 or so.
Yeah, around 55. So do the math. Diallo is on his 18th lap out on the racetrack. And these people are going to have to stretch it around 50, 55. So that means 37 laps, now 36 laps, is going to be the buffer on when you want to really hit pit road. Was that Gardner?
I think that was either a blink or the 55 just came close to spinning it. I'm not sure what that was. Oh, wow.
Oh,
yeah,
he's
loose. He was loose earlier, and
oh my lord,
Tokyo drifting it. What a save! That reminds me of Jamie McMurray at Las Vegas back in 2009 when he Tokyo drifted the entire turn. A really nice piece of driving there by Brody Gardner, but unfortunately it's going to cost him a lap, and you see there, he almost did it again. And he's still trying to hold on to it.
Yeah, he's all over the place, as I said.
Yeah, he hasn't quite been able to get it together here this race. He's been having that issue for pretty much the entire duration of the race, and looks like he will not be... Oh, and he just spun again out of turn 4.
That's right for him. There goes his race.
Yeah, he's just going to have to baby it at this point, just to hope he doesn't spin again.
Hess having issues as well, or no, he just worked himself off a pit road. Looks like a managed pit stop there.
And I'm sure the last thing the 55 wants to do is cause a caution because he keeps spinning like that. So, I mean, he might just try to baby it as much as he can just to limp it home, but definitely out of contention here tonight as he's now outside the top 20.
Connors in the 44 are going to go 2 laps down. He works himself left and getting out of the way of these leaders.
I thought he almost spun it there, but that was a very sudden move to the bottom, but out of the leader's way here, so he'll lose, looks like, another lap. But Johnson's hanging tough. Diallo hasn't pulled away the way he did on the first run.
And again, if you want to split this run into two parts, I mean, into half, you gotta pit around 40-ish laps. I mean, 40 to go, so...
We're closing in on that. That's around 10 laps from now.
But of course, if you want to stretch it all the way, you're gonna have to hit pit road really, really late. Of course, the benefits of staying out is you're not gonna go one lap down. Oh, caution comes out!
Oh!
And Sheen's on pit road, and it is Brody.
Oh, Brody again. So one of the longest green flag runs of the season. That was an 80-lap green flag run we had. But this will set us up for about a 50-lap dash here. And it looks like he just lost it again here in the middle of the turn. And around he goes. Yeah, he's been having issues all night, unfortunately. So the long green flag run comes to an end. And that will set us up for a 50-lap dash to the finish. And again, yeah, here comes everybody down pit road. This isn't shocking at all. And all those cars staying under for the wave around. But again, this should send everybody down pit road, and it'll put everybody on the same strategy from here on out.
So this is going to be a big reset button. Everybody one lap down is going to probably stay themselves out on the racetrack to get the wave around. Yeah, with a big reset button like this. Oh boy. Malachi and Sawyer and AJ all stay out, so...
Interesting.
All these drivers right here are getting the wave around. Unfortunate for them, they're going to have to pit one more time under green. Unless they want to pit right now and be held one lap down. Because of it.
Yeah, and what looks like a host of people a lap down are going to come down again here.
Malachi, one of them.
Bachman. Bachman's still one of those to watch tonight. Again, he's trying to hold on for that last chase spot, and he's a lap down, but the man trying to chase him down, Hunter Johnson, has been one of the best cars on track all night. As we can bring up the points here once again, just to refresh everybody on where they are. So Bachman again comes into tonight 26 points ahead of Johnson, and if that 12 can lead long enough, he could get that bonus point for the most amount of laps. So I think Bachman would probably have to retire right about now and get passed by everybody a lap down if Hunter wants to get into the chase, but if he wins, it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, and of course, now Hunter in the lead, and Bachman trapped one lap down. Bachman can't gain as many points as he wants to, being trapped one lap down. He's sitting in 18th right now, versus where Hunter is, up in front. And we'll get the one-to-go signal this time by, so...
Only the second restart of this entire race, of course, with the one on lap 4. And it looks like Parker White also got ahead of Diallo off pit road, so it'll be the 12, the 095, and the 18. And it looks like Miller in 4th, and Brandon round out your top 5. So this will be the first time really all race that we'll have a restart of all these cars out there. So we'll see who can come out on top this time. But with the control car, of course, being the 12, it's going to be quite the tall task to try to get by him here, especially with the run he's already had so far tonight.
Don't know who got the wave around. Oh, it looks like Bianchini was the one to probably get waved around, or it was Yurik who got the lucky dog. Or free pass. Yeah, everybody right now who's catching up all are getting wave arounds, but the people who are, that number 6 of Yurik got the lucky dog, so he's now on the lead lap and reset with fresher tires, and here we go. Green flag, and Hunter works himself to the gears. Looks like Omar's going to drop himself to the apron, trying to shortcut it. 2x2 into 1. Who's going to come out to this top 5 as Omar washes up on Parker White. Miller's trying to take it 3 into the corner. Can it work, though?
Speaking of, yeah, they're a bit 3 wide further back with AJ Bain, another car, in the middle of the turn. As they continue to shuffle, here comes Diallo with a run on the bottom side, trying to take the lead away. He'll come up and block the 095 here to turn 3. And here comes Connor trying to take 3rd away from Parker White as he tries to make his first splash here towards this lead.
Omar's there. Hunter's going to work himself to the apron. He fended out Omar right there, but it seems as though Omar got a better tri-oval than he did, and he works himself to the high side. So can Omar pinch enough to get that that number 12?
I think we might see something similar to what we saw in the very first restart on lap 4, where the 18 got by the 12 and pulled away for a while, and then the 12 eventually started to reel him back in and passed him.
Diallo back to the lead.
Yeah, and I think we could potentially see something similar. But here comes Johnson with a good crossover here, down under the apron, and it's super close, just inches apart there at the line. And I believe Johnson actually got the spot, just under Diallo did by a hair. But maybe Diallo won't pull away this time. The 12 is definitely hanging tough and isn't fading as much as it did on the first run. But here comes Parker White trying to get that second spot.
And here comes a slew of cars right behind. They work themselves at the back side of that 095. And now they go side by side for second. This is what Diallo needs to see in his mirror.
And look at Miller there in 4th. He might take it 3 here into 1, but the caution is back out once again. And it looks like Justin Johnson in the 33, one of those having a solid run tonight, in some trouble here out of turn 4. And we'll see what got him all out of shape here to bring out caution number 3 here on lap 91.
He was running toward the top 5. That's really unfortunate for that number 33. You'll see, he was 6th at the time, and looks like
hit to the outside wall. That's unfortunate for him. He was doing really, really well here. This will reset the field once again. And I believe this is going to give...
Connor dropped out.
And we've got a
man!
And LaFaro and Drake get duped out.
Oh, no. Like everybody right behind went in, so...
Looks like Connor's fallen out. And I believe that's going to give, I think, Bachman the lucky dog. But that's the tough break for Connor as well. He was running in 3rd, and now out of contention as well.
I'm very surprised they didn't hit pit road. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do, is sort of fake people down on pit road, because you just given everybody the opportunity right behind you just to jump the gun here for these next 40 laps. So not a smart move to fake people on the pit road, in my opinion. They're going to get swallowed up.
Yeah, that wasn't a very long run, though. It was only about a 3 or 4, maybe even 5 lap run. So the tires aren't going to be a whole lot different, but even 5 lap fresher tires could end up making a big difference.
So it's going to be Diallo, White, and Johnson rounding out this top 3. So Omar easily worked himself through those 2 cars right in front of him. I think Omar is the best short run car for right now.
Agreed.
And of course, with only 40 laps to go, Hunter's going to be in a bad position here. Maybe pass this number 18. if he gets a good restart, he'll be trapped behind the 18. And we saw during that whole entire other half of right after pit road cycled through, Hunter was having trouble to get by that number 18, and even with only one lap fresher tires than him. So I think Hunter.
I think Hunter wants this thing to go green all the way. Because with Diallo so strong on these short runs, if we keep having a string of cautions like this, that's just less and less time that Johnson can try to reel that 18 back in. So I think Hunter's best shot at getting the win is going to be if from here on out we stay green like that really long run we had up until around lap 80.
We'll see, though. Looks like Bachman does get the wave around. Back onto the lead lap he goes. Justin Johnson at the 33. I'm not really sure if that was like a hard enough hit to the outside wall and switched to destroy his car, but it was a decent hit as he overcorrected up there. He's all the way back now, sitting P17, last car on the lead lap.
So getting ready to go green here on lap 95, so exactly 40 to go at the line. Diallo and Parker White, row 1, Johnson and Miller, row 2. And DeAndrea up there now in 5th. So let's see if that 028 has anything for these 4 dominant cars here in these late stages.
Yeah, look at right behind. A couple of Supreme machines. AJ Bain and Max Yerk, 6 and 8. They've now worked themselves inside this top 10. So a nice run by them. So they're working forward and maybe might make a shot for this top 10. In the meantime of that, for this 18, Omar Diallo, Basin racing on his machine to work himself into the front and lead this field for lap number 95 out of 134. Pace car scoots itself on in, and we are green.
Green flag.
And a big stack up around 10th place. They're 4 wide across the line as somebody back there did not get going at all. And they're going to be all over the place. They're still 4 wide into turn 1.
Bergie hit the apron just trying to get out of harm's way. He washes up the racetrack, but AJ's getting swamped. Hunter's stuck in the middle.
Going for second. 3 wide for that second spot behind Diallo. And Sheen's going to push DeAndre here into 3. This 028's coming alive out of nowhere. Can he have something here for these top 10? As and almost contact with between Yerk and St. Clair.
They're all over the place here on the front straightaway. Everybody trying to find a room to get under the 18. It might be Jack DeAndre. It might not. You're working to 1 regardless. Speaking of
Basin.
1, she just about got quarter paneled by Basin, who gets loose.
Close call there.
They're all over the place. Look at them. They're blocking down low, up high.
Back. Almost 4 wide around 10th place or so. As Johnson clears for second.
Oh, my lord.
It's LaFaro and Johnson and someone else back there. They're still all over the place as we're 3 wide for third again. And it looks like Johnson and Diallo already started to pull away, and contact between Sheen and Parker White sends the 095 up the hill, and he barely holds onto that car, but he will free fall now almost out of the top 10.
What a save by the 095 Parker White, but of course, not to his fault. Liam just had the position into the corner, and both of them just made contact.
2 by 2 here for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Miller thinking about taking it 3, but I think he thought better of it there.
Right, man, caution is out.
There's Diallo, but the caution is back out. And the way they were just racing over those last couple laps, I can't say I'm surprised. And it looks like it's the 44 of Tyler Connors in some trouble. And looks like this is totally separate, or like way away from the pack. Racing with Bianchini and Cole Williams here.
Yeah, Connors, of course, 2 laps down, and just tagged the wall. And oh my gosh, Cole just nowhere to go.
Yeah, tough break there. Of course, not meaning to do that. You know, probably disappointed in the fact. You know, I mean, anyone that's 2 laps down, of course, doesn't want to having that happen, but unfortunately, those things do happen sometimes. So that'll put us under the caution once again here for the 4th time tonight, and that was an absolutely bonkers restart that we just saw.
Now, the question is, do you want to hit pit road? I think a lot of these drivers used up their tires with that big battle, and with that big fake out on the pit road, split the field in half. Excuse me, from this stint. So all those drivers around like 7-8 laps on their stuff. I don't think y'all now Omar will fling himself left onto pit road, but Hunter takes it out, and I think Omar's the only person on a pit road.
And Parker.
Oh my.
And Miller. So Diallo, Miller, and Parker White, the only 3 to come down. And so with the 95 pitting, Schmidt stays out. So for the time being, Schmidt will now become the points leader, at least for the next handful of laps off the restart. As we've hit the lap 100 mark here.
Yeah, 34 laps to go this time by. Brody Gardner gets the wave around. But, man, I'm just, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Because, I mean, I knew it would happen like this because the way these leaders faked half the field back on a pit road, Omar paid the price, as well as all those other people.
And Parker.
On pit road. Parker White, Nick Miller, they paid the price. And now they're going to be all the way in the back, like way, way back of the lead lap.
Well, they've got 30, looks at the restart, probably 31 or 32 laps to get back up there. And we saw last night, pitting with around 25 to go for Malachi Drake worked out in his favor. Because I believe he restarted around 15th or so, and in 25 laps, worked himself to the lead, and then won by 4 seconds on newer tires. So it's possible that Diallo could do the same thing, but we'll have to see where he restarts, because, of course, doing that at Bristol is a whole lot different than doing that at Chicagoland. It looks like 14th, I believe, for Diallo.
Still viable, but man, the way they were all over the place for that green flag run, I think we're bound to see another huge wreck before the end of this thing. Cause, I
think that was bound to happen. We had that super long green flag run, and in the back of my head, I was thinking if we have a caution, it's going to end up causing a whole string of them. And sure enough, we've now had, I think, 3 now since the caution for Brody. So hopefully we can get another run in here before this thing's over. But this only helps Johnson.
Yeah, that's right. Track position is going to be huge for that number 12, Johnson. And for all those drivers who hit pit road on that first wave, Basin is now up into 9th. I mean, up into 4th. Malachi Drake's in 6th. AJ Bain, he's on 15-lap older tires, so he's sort of trying to survive up there inside this top 5. What a nice run by him, by the way.
Yeah, quite a few guys here. Saw Johnson earlier. And DeAndrea runs in 3rd as we take the 1 to go, so it'll be 32 to go at the line. We saw DeAndrea make that 3-wide move for 2nd off the restart, and he'll restart in 3rd this time. And with the restarts that that Hunter Johnson has had, I think he could potentially drag that 028 with him. You could have an interesting battle for the lead here. And if the whole low side gets dragged, Bain's right there in 5th as well. And St. Clair in 7th. This whole inside line behind Hunter has some really interesting names. DeAndrea, Bain, St. Clair, Johnson. I think that's Urich. The 5 on the bottom behind Hunter. So we could potentially end up seeing a similar setup to what we saw last night at Bristol, where a lot of people you don't typically see up there may end up finishing there.
We'll just have to see on how this all goes. In the meantime, at that, the number 12, Hunter Johnson, is going to take the green. And we're going to go back up racing through the gears for 103 out of 134. Going to go into the books. iSCAR gets itself on in. Green flag. Omar already jumping the restart. AJ works himself down low. Hunter he jumps down to the apron. Looks like Liam got to the high side of Hunter. Look at them, they're all over the place.
Here comes Sheen on the high side battling for the lead. Look at Basin up high. We're looking almost 4 wide here in the middle of the turn as they're trying to battle for position, and hopefully nobody runs into each other. But we got cars all over the place here down the backstretch as people still juggle for position. There's Schmidt 3 wide up the middle.
Omar got bumped, and I'm surprised that number 18 looks like didn't get turned. And there's still 2x2 up front. Oh my goodness, they're all over the place. This is madness. Sheen's still to the quarter panel without number 12. Look at Basin. He might take it 3.
There he goes.
Here he comes.
He can't get the run, though, into turn 1. He's going to get stuck behind that 1 for right now. But speaking of that 1,
wow!
He's going to run up high, but Hunter washes up right into him. And they are side by side here down the backstretch as they're still juggling for position. And Schmidt and Diallo almost make contact there in the 3.
Oh, Deandra hit the apron. He's going to jam up this inside lane. AJ's going to get sandwiched. Sawyer was trying to pick it to the apron. He can't go anywhere.
4 wide.
What is this?
Oh, and there they go. There it is. And Aaron Brown and Parker White into the outside wall. And the 095 is a huge hit. And they're still wrecking here with LaFaro and Brown. And something had to give. And Parker White's great night comes to an end here on the front stretch. But they were 3-4 wide for a good 3-4 laps there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, 4 wide on the front straightaway, especially when drivers are on the apron like that. It was bound to be a mess, and look at them, they're all over the place.
Yes, I think the initial contact was between Brown and Parker White. That's the blue car and the
that's Schmidt.
Green car here. And they're 4 wide, and I mean, at this point, there was just no more room, and something had to give, and big hit there. And then further up, there were more cars around, so something happened with Brown and LaFaro after the initial wreck. And you'll see Miller come up a bit, and the gap just closed for Aaron Brown and had nowhere to go except right into the 095. He comes down and tags the 20. Brody saves it, but the 20 looks like he's junk as well, and so is that Aaron Brown machine. And Diallo made his way up back into 10th before the caution came out. And looks like, is this going to be another fake out, or are we going to see people actually pitting here?
Oh, and Hunter gets faked out!
Himself. In Bane. And some more towards the back.
A lot of people.
Actually, a good amount of people. A lot of them towards the back. So Sheen stays out. Basin, Drake, DeAndrea, St. Clair, Johnson, Schmidt, and somebody else. Diallo stays out, of course, because he just pit not that long ago. Free pass to Burgee.
No, actually, Diallo did hit pit road.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious why the 18 hit pit road, so...
Could we see a 2-tire call here, maybe? I doubt it, but you never know.
2-tire call is going to be gutsy. But, I mean, Basin took 2, so...
Well, there you go.
He's going to be starting in second, though. But, of course, he hit pit road 15 laps ago prior to Liam Sheen's 25 laps ago. Now, 24, excuse me.
And we'll have to see where the other cars in this top 10, like St. Clair and Johnson, are in that department in terms of when they last came down. Looks like DeAndrea 22, like Sheen 15 apiece for Basin and Drake, and then Johnson and Hunter Rupp, of course, didn't grid. That's a bit messed up there. And then St. Clair, Johnson, and Schmidt all 15 as well. And AJ Bain still ended up coming out ahead of Diallo. So I don't know if Sheen could maybe make it to the end with his tires being the oldest in the field. But I think Basin may have a really good shot here to maybe steal this thing away.
I don't know. I mean, 2 tires is a gutsy call, because...
One way to find out, though.
I mean, yeah. I didn't even realize he took on 2.
How you end up winning races.
I didn't even realize he took 2. And that's why he's in second place, but... I mean, 2 tires is better than none. I'm just unsure about the unbalance on that machine, how it's going to be for these next upcoming 20 laps, but we'll just have to see on how this all turn out, because This is interesting. For Sheen to be leading this, I'm not sure how he's gonna hang on for all these drivers right behind on fresh tires.
And we know how many times he's finished second recently. That one car definitely wants to finish in the same spot as that number. And he's come really, really close many, many times. But could he finally break through tonight and maybe hold on those older tires?
I'm not sure. Sheen's been 0 for 4 on photo finishes. Came short at the Truck Series at Daytona to Nick and Delicato. Came short to Dominic Howe at Atlanta. Came short twice in a row at Talladega. One to Blaze Crawford and one to Dylan Basin, the man he's starting alongside of. So, can Sheen finally break that streak of just not being short? Boy, I wish I wasn't short. That's an inside joke. Thank you.
now.
Oh my gosh.
This is a professional setting, guys. Come on now. We'll take the green here with 25 to go, so not a whole lot of time left. And we've had a string of cautions here after that green run. So could we maybe get a run here to the end, or do you think we may just have more of the same here until this thing's over?
I think we're going to have more cautions. The way they're stacked up right now, I mean, with all these cars on older tires, this whole entire top 7 are on older tires. And oh boy. Pace car's in. Liam hits the throttle.
Early, and Basin clears the 90. So Sheen was able to take Basin with him there across the line. And it looks like a whole lot less of 3 and 4 wide than we saw in previous starts. But look at Johnson wasting no time already on the back bumper of the other Johnson. But Schmidt has a nice move to the bottom side. That is for 6th.
Sheen did something godlike there on the restart. He went on pace car rather than green, so he could fan out the field before they started to stack up right behind him. But the one is a semi-sitting duck right now. Whoa! Hunter goes behind an Omar, isn't it as well? Oh, the 2 dominant cars on the day get wrecked!
Oh no! And hits Burgee. The most dominant cars of the day get collected on a lap 111 wreck. And that's going to just about end any chance Hunter Johnson had at making the chase. And it looks like those 2 pitting ends up being the wrong decision, as the pace car is just chugging down the backstretch there.
This race just opened up to a lot of people. Like, I thought Omar was eventually going to work himself to the front, or Hunter.
I think he was up to a 10th before that.
But man,
look and see what happened. They were all over each other out of turn 4, and I think Hunter got tagged. Racing with Sawyer St. Clair, Justin Johnson, and Schmidt. So we'll see what happened. Did Schmidt maybe wash up the hill?
Oh, looks like...
Oh, I think there was contact with St. Clair and Hunter. And then Urick's going to hit Hunter, and then right up into Burgee. And Burgee's bad luck strikes again. Had that thing missed, and the 6 just nowhere to go and flew right up into him. Here's the 6, ends up running right into Hunter, and nowhere for Burgee to go. And I think Beyond Cheating may have gotten a piece of that as well. So it looks like 4 or 5 cars all with damage. Justin Johnson's going to take this opportunity to hit pit road, as well as Sawyer St. Clair. So the 2 of them yield their top 10 spots for now. And that's going to put Bachman back in the top 10, as well as Brody Gardner, who we saw all over the place earlier.
Oh my goodness. So the person on the freshest tires now inside this top 10 is AJ Bain and Nick Miller and Bachman. So
what an upset it would be if Bain or Bachman pulled this thing out.
That's right, and they have the chance to, but what Sheen there in the restart is going to stall them. They can't. Sheen's not allowing them to stack up. And Sheen's just not allowing them to stack up enough for him to lose the lead. Sheen's playing the right game right now on staying out with track position, but you saw there, Basin was definitely faster than that number 1. he just couldn't find a ways around him, unfortunately. I mean, AJ, not AJ, but Liam was just playing his cards outright, just taking the 08's line away.
Well, I think Sheen also recognized what was happening over the last couple restarts and probably thought, is there any way that I can prevent them from stacking up like that again? And indeed, the solution was to go right on iSCAR. So I would assume that he'll probably end up doing the same thing again here on the restart, because even though they wrecked further back, they were not 3 and 4 wide like they were in the last handful of restarts.
This is insane.
Yeah, we had that really long green flag run from lap 4 to lap 84, and now these last 30 laps have been pretty much nothing but yellows for the most part, so a complete contrast to what this first looks like half or so of the race was. And there's only going to be around 18 or 19 to go at the line, so it's definitely closing time here, especially if the cautions continue to rain down like they are.
Oh my goodness. With only 15 cars on the lead lap.
One to go.
One to go at the wire now.
And Uric beats the field off pit road, so he'll stay on the lead lap. So there'll be 20 to go at the line. Diallo's still in 11th. I don't think that 18 actually got that much damage. Hunter, on the other hand, I think he's done for the night. But Diallo didn't really get a whole lot, so that 18 I wouldn't necessarily rule him out of this race yet. I think he might have a shot here. He'll have to pass around 10 cars, but that car definitely looking much cleaner than his counterpart in the 12.
We'll just have to see, though. But man, again, these drivers who stayed themselves out, it seems as though they're playing the luck game right now, because these drivers, AJ Bain, Nick Miller, David Bachman, they're going to be plowing through this field and once we get a solid run in. And I think out of those three, Nick Miller's in the best place because he's starting on the bottom.
Are we going to have a run at all, though? Because if we keep having cautions like this, all the guys that have been staying out, that plays right into their favor.
Just have to see, though. iSCAR scoots itself on in. Liam hits the throttle, so looks like Williams the one who was sleeping on that.
And Basin
top four
clears
get themselves in line.
And Miller's taking it 3 here into 1 underneath Schmidt for that 5th spot. And that right there is for the regular season championship. Again, those two came into tonight only 2 points apart. So, of course, again, nothing in terms of extra points or anything for winning that, but bragging rights nonetheless. And for right now, that 95 takes it back.
Look at the contact right behind. Looks like Omar just punted the 33 up the racetrack.
He's flying. He suffered almost no damage from that.
Whoa, what a block!
To the grass!
Oh, and this is going to stack third up out. Where will Malachi go?
Yeah, that 08 almost went into the grass after that block from Liam Sheen. And with how many times Liam's finished second recently, I cannot blame him as he blocks some more here into 3. But I don't know how long he can do this before Basin finally finds an opening he can pass in.
Oh, Basin, he slipped up the corner. Can Malachi work himself down low? Looks like no.
Whoa! And another big block there from Sheen. That's going to allow the 90 to make a move up high. And he'll cross over the 08, who almost hits the wall.
Oh, they're stocking up now.
And here comes the 90. Look at Miller now into this mix as well.
He's flying. He's on the freshest tires out of these top 3.
Look at Diallo in the distance. He's up there now, too.
If Miller gets a clear shot, he's going to take it 3 wide no matter what. He might take it 3 wide on the front stretch. Here he comes.
There he goes. This is for second place. And again, look at that red 18 in this top 7 or 8. Do not, by any circumstances, count that 18 out of this race yet. As he makes a move on Bain, and he gets into AJ Bain, and that's going to put him in the wall. And now he'll definitely be out of it. But he holds on to that car.
All right, man, caution is out.
But he's going to lose some spots, but they wreck hard in the background. And actually, that is Diallo around. I thought that was Justin Johnson. And that 18 now is destroyed.
Oh, my. So another reset button, but with Miller now in P2, I think Sheen and all those drivers who stayed out, they got to hit pit road. That is a red flag right there.
Agreed. And I think Diallo just got right into the back of AJ Bain and then sent himself up the hill. We'll get a look here into 1. A good run here for the 18. Just gets
Ooh.
right into AJ.
Oh.
Sends himself up into the wall. He ends up spinning it and overcorrects hard into the outside wall. And it looks like everybody else avoids him.
Yeah,
Hunter
AJ
up
had a
back
clear
back.
shot to get down on in, but I mean, the 18 of Diallo just trying to force himself where.
I mean, with how fresh his tires were, I can't blame him for doing that either. Hunter up finally back on track in the 61, like 100 laps down.
Yeah,
But
amazing, but.
is Miller about to pit?
And Sheen
What?
stays out! No, he's oh, that's
Oh!
a 1X! Oh my goodness gracious, but yeah, that's
And
not a smart move by
everybody else-
Miller.
Parker White hit the outside wall hard earlier. He got that car repaired. He's now 4th. Bachman is now 5th because he stayed out. Justin in 6th. Bianchini in 7th with no front end. And Gardner in St. Clair. And so everybody from 10th on back pit. So whoever ends up first off pit road is going to round up the top 10 for the restart. But could Bachman maybe get another top 5 here now that he stayed out? But I think this win now, I think may have Nick Miller's name written all over it.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though Liam has control on the restart, that only works in a situation like this for maybe 2 or 3 laps at most. Yeah, 37 lap old tires. We're at a 13 for Miller and Bain, and then said Bason's still in 4th. I thought he dropped further than that.
Yeah, the leaderboard still has to shuffle.
I think Parker is now 4th, only an 8 lap old tires. So Parker now has the freshest tires in the field. Or actually, no, never mind that. The freshest of people that stayed out. So maybe this doesn't have Nick's name written on it. Maybe that 095, despite wrecking hard earlier, could he potentially go 2 in a row here in the Cup Series? And Bain in 3rd.
Oh yeah, now if Liam cooperates with AJ Bain and get them side by side for 2nd, I'm not sure. I mean, AJ's on the same tires as Miller, so if AJ somehow finds himself under Miller, it might be game over for Miller. But he could easily get himself clear of that 8, or the 8 could get himself clear of that number 95. So vice versa, whoever's gonna be in front, out of the back straight, I mean into the back straightaway, is probably gonna be the leader by the end of the next lap, because Sheen is on 38 lap old tires right now, and I don't think he's gonna survive up front.
It's going to certainly be interesting. But the more cautions come out, the more this race continues to get flipped upside down. And we'll see if that 1 can hold on, but he's got so much older tires compared to the... I mean, literally everybody behind him except for Hess in the 91, who's way further back. I don't know how much longer Liam can hold on like this.
I don't know either. I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening, but...
If we end up with a green-white-checkered that Liam's the control car for, it's possible. But he'll have to hold on to the lead up until then as well, as we hit the 1 to go.
He's gonna need a span of cautions.
Probably. So Sheen, Miller, Bain, White, and Bachman the top 5. Johnson, Bianchini without a front end. Gardner, St. Clair, and 10th is Basin. So we saw a wacky top 10 at Bristol last night. Could we potentially see an even wackier top 10 tonight?
It's shaping up to be one. Tell you
And
what,
with
man.
Diallo and Hunter now out of the picture.
Yeah, that opens up the door for everybody. I mean, by means of that, like everybody.
If Miller runs into some trouble here, it really opens up the door for pretty much anybody in this field.
Oh yeah, that's right. Miller's still there, so I guess not. But I mean, again, if Miller doesn't get going on this restart, and AJ starts flying, who knows who's gonna get that 2nd spot and work themselves to the lead. But it all comes down to this.
Pace car gets out of the way.
Oh, Sheen went early. It looks like AJ. Whoa!
Whoa! And Miller barely clears there.
And now Miller's in second. And look at the lead that Liam got. He's going to be a sitting duck.
Oh, and contact between Brody and Parker White there, as the 095 with that damage will fall out of that 4th spot. And look at Justin down the backstretch as AJ throws a block, trying to hold on to 3rd. It looks like these top 2 might be starting to separate, at least for the time being. But Miller, I think, is going to get him fairly quickly here.
If Liam plays his cards out right and just blocks correctly, maybe he could stall out Miller and get that 3rd pack going. I mean, get that 2nd pack rolled forward. They're side by side, though, for that 3rd spot. But here comes Miller! Whoa!
Oh, and watch out. Brody and AJ nearly make contact in the middle of the turn. They're all over each other here for 4th. And look at Basin flying up the high side. He's up in the 4th now. And he's got fresh tires, too.
Oh, looks like Basin couldn't get down in line. I mean, Johnson was there. Whoa!
Whoa!
Bachman!
Oh,
there we go!
There's Parker and Bachman, and oh no! And he gets a hard hit with Bianchini, and we go under caution again with 10 to go.
And Liam still has the lead. Unreal. And we're gonna have a restart with 5 laps to go. And
the big key there, though, Dylan Basin got up to 4th before that caution came out. He'll run up behind Miller now. Yeah, looks like Bachman just got loose on the apron, hit Brody, and I think Parker overreacted a bit there. And, ooh.
Yeah, but Bachman had no chance of saving that car. That car, as soon as it overcorrected back up the racetrack, Bianchini is just bracing for impact. And Parker, he too tried to save it and unfortunately got into Bachman.
Oh, Bianchini. Front end already gone, and then insult to injury there for the 48. But Bachman, I believe, is already secure in the chase. So even though, of course, this wreck stinks for him, it's not all gloomy-doomy here.
Gloomy-doomy. I love that word. Question is, Sheen has to stay himself out. There's just no way, right?
With how few laps there are, he cannot pit now. We've already seen what happened with Hunter and Diallo when they pit. They end up getting caught in wrecks. So Liam cannot pit here without risking.
Miller, wait.
He's gonna. He's probably gonna.
He's probably. Yeah, he's baiting people.
Yep, and well, Bianchini, I'm not shocked because he just got ran into by Bachman and a couple of people towards the back. So no, I don't think there's any surprises there in terms of pitting. But with Basin getting up to 4th, that means on the restart, assuming Liam picks the bottom like he has, that means Basin is going to line up behind his teammate, and he's got even fresher tires than Miller does. So the 95 is a prime opportunity here to get by the 1, but that 08, I think, is going to have something for all 3 of these guys, as he pit more recently than all of them did. And Bane's not out of this either. Because again, Bane is on the same tire strategy Nick is. And this is still anybody's race, despite the differing strategies.
I want AJ. A commentator's bias right here. I'm going to give in my 2 cents. AJ needs to stop slacking on these restarts. He needs to get himself under that 95 to have a prime shot for this win. He's on the same tires as Miller. And you saw what Miller could do with Sheen, based on that pull away. So, AJ, he's there, but he just needs to get himself tucked up on restarts enough so he could get under Miller. But now he has Basin to worry about. He's in a bad sandwich right now of, he's currently in an ego sandwich. Two of the most, 2 drivers who already have wins surrounding this number 8. I mean, AJ technically has a win. He has a dual win, but that doesn't count. But man, if AJ gets a good restart and gets clear the 95 of Miller, all bets are off on who's going to come out as the winner.
Well, I am not saying anything. I'm not passing go. I'm not collecting $200. I am not saying or jinxing anybody. Because I've done it before, and I feel bad for doing it, and I'm not doing it again. But I think Liam does have a really good chance of holding on here, despite how old the tires are. with how many cautions we keep getting, it means he has less and less time that he has to hold off the rest of these cars. But I could totally see a scenario where Basin takes it 3.
Right.
Again, knowing he has fresher tires than everyone else up here. And we saw how quickly he got up to that top 5 before that previous yellow came out. Or maybe will he work with his teammate to try to get him up to the lead? Because again, those two are SPM cars up high.
Oh, that's right. So Basin could be working with Miller on the high side.
SPM is 1, 2, 3 on the high side. So
2, 4, 6.
Even though Liam has control, we could see some teamwork perhaps with those 3.
That's right. And oh my. Gonna see 5 to go this time by, and
the one question I'll ask is, do you think this will be the last restart? Because my answer is no.
I think it will. Based on the amount of cars that are on the lead lap and the amount of cars that we've damaged.
I don't know.
It might be the final restart that we see this whole entire night, but
I don't know about that. It's gonna be interesting though.
Yeah, and if we have another wreck, who's gonna be in it?
Probably everybody. If we have another wreck, I think it's going to be probably started around the top 5, and it's just going to collect everybody. And we're going to see somebody that's currently like 11th or 12th or around there end up in the lead if we have another wreck. Will I just have jinxed it? Time to find out, though.
iSCAR scoots himself on in. Miller, Sheen, Bane. Looks like AJ's tucked up the back bumper of Miller. Looks like he got the nose under him this time.
Miller can't clear.
Miller can't clear, so all bets on AJ to take second place.
Look at Basin. Oh, and I think Basin and AJ maybe just made a bit of contact, but Bane's got the nose under Miller. Could the 8 steal this thing? But look at Justin on the bottom as well. It's Liam blocks down the backstretch. And look at AJ, he gets the nose under. Oh, and he makes contact with Sheen. And AJ's on the apron. That's going to stack up the bottom. And here comes Basin up the middle, taking it 3. 4 wide for second. And Basin huge hit. And they continue to pile up. Malachi spins as the caution comes out again. And now Miller's into second. And Johnson now into third.
Oh my gosh. Oh. AJ had it timed perfectly, but he got swamped doing it.
He had the run and he got blocked down to the apron and had to let off and just washed right up the hill. Nothing AJ could do there.
Nothing AJ could do.
He gets a big push from Justin down the backstretch. Liam blocks. AJ makes the daring move down to the bottom, and Liam blocks him down into the apron. And you see how squirrely his car gets, and he's trying to chase the car up the hill, and then unfortunately gets into Basin in the process. And those two end up going for a spin with the 90. As a couple more cars go beyond Genie, just right through the bottom of the grass. So, I mean, that was just an aggressive block, and AJ just trying to chase it.
Yeah,
unfortunately collects the 08.
Oh man, that's so heartbreaking to see that.
Oh.
So, now with Dylan with damage, he flings it onto pit road. So, I think it's all for Miller now. It's no doubt all for Miller. I mean, who knows? AJ, now Justin Johnson's in P3 somehow, so maybe he could pull the same thing as AJ and get under Miller.
Man, if Justin Johnson could pull this out, and again, with Liam being the control car,
is he even gonna get an EOL? I'm not even if Liam gets an EOL off of that incident, oh my gosh. So well, that blows up the door for Miller to win this.
If he doesn't get an EOL and he controls the next restart, I think we could see a situation where Justin can get the nose under Miller just like AJ just did. And if the 33 can get his nose under the 95 and maybe clear out of turn 2, I think Justin has a really good shot, if it stays green from there on out, of maybe stealing this thing away.
Oh my lord. It's been caution filled ever since the caution with Brody. My, oh my. What a win it would be for Liam to pick up this one. Of course, just came up short so many times, and it seems as though he's about to get swamped. He's been swamped he's been nearly swamped so many times off of restarts, but he's been able to survive up front on 50-lap older tires somehow. But of course, versus Miller's 26-lap old tires, I mean, I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but Justin has 21-lap old tires, Brody has 23. Malachi is on the best strategy tire-wise, but he has damage, I think.
Yeah, he just got caught up in that wreck, I believe. I think he hit the outside wall. I'm honestly kind of surprised that this isn't an EOL penalty for Liam, though.
I'm surprised, too.
I mean, obviously, he didn't actually initiate the contact that caused the caution, but the chain of events that led up to it, I think, certainly had an impact. Because AJ had chased that thing all the way through 3, and AJ got blocked onto the apron. I mean, he had nothing he could have done differently there. But no EOL, though. So the one to go here, this is Green-white-checkered number 1. And even though that was, that could be considered a dirty block by some people, but you have to consider...
It's for the win.
He's finished in second so many times recently. He just wants to win one of these things. And even though it was kind of a crappy block, I mean, I certainly understand it.
Man.
I can understand both sides to this.
Yeah, completely. That's right.
So it's hard to judge it when you know both people on either side of it are going to have very valid points.
That's right. That's totally
what happened.
I totally 100% agree on you with that.
But nonetheless, Sheen will control the restart again, this time with Justin Johnson behind him. Miller up high, so the key here is going to be if the 33 can get the nose under the 95, or if Miller can clear the 33 into turn 1. Because if Miller can clear the 33, he's got a shot. But I think if 33 gets his nose under and it stays green, that might be it. Here we go.
Who knows? So, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, and Justin made it! He got the restart! So Justin he has the nose under Miller, so they're side by side for second. Can Justin clear the 95?
And Brody goes with his teammate, though, which I can't say I'm surprised by. And the 33, in terms of drafting, has no help. But he's still side-by-side with Miller at it, too. But the 95 is going to have a run out of the corner. And down the backstretch, Brody's going to go with his teammate. So the 33 is going to be hung out to dry here into turn 3. And Miller can't clear.
Oh, now he clears.
Now he does. White, can they make it to the line?
White flag, and it's all for Sheen. Can he fend out finally?
Miller. Here comes Miller up high. Sheen's going to block, of course.
He has to block. Take away his line away. Miller trying to cross him over.
Oh, he might get into him. I think he did. That's going to cost Miller some time, but he's going to try the high side this time. And they wreck in the back with DeAndrea. Brody makes a move for third underneath Johnson. And the last chance here for Miller in the middle of the turn. He's going to really send it in
he hit the apron. That's it. That's over.
That's it. And out of turn 4, Liam Sheen will finally hold on, and he'll win here at Chicagoland after coming up short so many times. He gets it done here tonight.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Finally. Liam Sheen picks up the Cup Series win. And of course, everybody going around him and congratulating him. Well deserved, and what a strategy by that one to gamble out, to stay out, and put himself in prime position to win here tonight at Chicagoland. Look at the amount of people that are getting up on him.
This is like Dale Earnhardt winning the Daytona 500 almost, with the amount of people congratulating him right now.
That's right.
With the amount of times that this man has finished in second place, he was way overdue for one, and he finally seals the deal here tonight here at Chicagoland. And this is going to be one hell of a burnout here, I'm sure. Unofficial results here in a moment, but an unreal job of staying out on much older tires than anyone else in the field, and gets it done. What a run.
What a race. Full of results, as mentioned earlier. Liam Sheen finally.
St. Clair in 5th? What?
What the?
Nick Miller, unfortunately for him, just short in second. Brody Gardner ends up third. Justin Johnson, what a run for him there in fourth. And Sawyer St. Clair, the best ever finish for him in iSCAR. A top 10 back-to-back nights. Parker White ends up sixth with all that damage. William Schmidt finishes seventh, which means Miller is the regular season champion. Garrett Hess, who was 2 laps down earlier in this race, finishes in eighth. And Malachi and Dylan round out your top 10.
Deandra, Bianchini, Uric, Bachman, LaFaro, AJ after that phenomenal run. Unfortunately, he comes up in 16th place. Diallo, Berge, Johnson, Brown round out the top 20.
Believe Bachman will be your 13th and final chaser here tonight. Tyler Connor's there in 21st. Connor Brennan, after being in the top 5, fell out earlier. He ends up 22nd. Kyler Wynn, Nick Roten, Cole Williams involved in that lap 1 wreck. Benjamin White, Corey Long, Hunter Rupp, and Keelan Belsha round out your field. The show is not over here at Chicagoland. We've got post-race interviews still to come up, and I'm sure we're going to be interviewing a very, very excited Liam Sheen. So be sure to come back and stay tuned for these post-race interviews. And we'll be back in just a few moments.
Earnhardt, the defending champion, a man who has won here at this racetrack. He has been absolutely second to none in 1987.
Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win, his 4th win of 1987 out of 6. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Everyone's wondering what can stop Dale Earnhardt. He's on a roll, 4 wins and 6 starts. I mean, is there anybody can handle you?
There may be a little more here underneath the sheet metal.
Well, I'm sure this afternoon we'll know a lot more, and we've got 500 miles to run. We'll see what happens.
Good luck today.
A magnificent 19th annual $500,000 Talladega 500 is won by Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, and the siren is beginning to ring. You'll probably hear it in Dahlonega. Bill Elliott has won. Davey Allison.
Elliott now getting a challenge from Tim Richmond, but he closes again right in behind Earnhardt, coming down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott goes inside. And Earnhardt still got the lead. Incredible. Decent driving by Earnhardt. 7 laps to go. Earnhardt went on the grass.
Dale Earnhardt is reminding Mr. Elliott, you make one mess up like that, and I might get through.
When you come to North Wilkesboro on a short racetrack, you expect some fender to fender and even some paint trading going on out there. We've seen it already as Brett Bodine gave Jerry Cranmer a nudge in the rear end, and now we're seeing.
And we welcome everybody back here live for tonight's iSCAR event. Finally rounding himself out in victory, Liam Sheen in the number 1 machine. That sort of rhymes. I just noticed about that. The Sheen machine in the machine of that number 1's Ian.
You're trying too hard.
Yeah, I'm trying too hard. I'm going to stop there. But congratulations to the 1 regardless, man. What a race. What a finish. But before we dive into interviews, what you think of tonight's race, Dewey?
I don't know what to think. That had so many different things going on and so many different strategies, and I cannot believe that Liam was able to hold on that long to finally pick up the win here, but a job well done for sure. But enough from us. Let's bring in the people that made it happen here as we bring in Liam Sheen, who finally has come out on top here at Chicagoland.
And into the booth he goes. Liam! My, oh my, man. What a gamble to stay yourself out and put yourself in prime position to win this thing. So you decide to stay out with, looks like 52 lap old tires, and the cautions just played out to your favor. He kept you up front, and it seems as though Miller's opportunities just flung out the door, especially on that white flag. Miller had a prime opportunity to pass you, but you cut him out, and you're finally victorious here in iSCAR. Sheen, man, congratulations. First words.
I'm kind of speechless. That gamble paid off there. This feels so nice after finishing second so many times. 2 seconds in a row, getting a win after all that. And so many second places. It's just makes them all worth it for this moment, I guess. It's been forever, I guess, since I've won in a league, let alone to win here where I've run so long, and where I've grown as a driver and all of that, and learned a lot of stuff, and to finally get one on a non-plate too. So it's just amazing.
That's right, man. And of course, this win is huge for you. On to next week as well. This win, of course, you're coming in here as secured and for the chase. This win will propel you upwards in the standings coming next week. You'll get 3 extra bonus points onto next week. So, of course, this win, huge momentum on your side. But not only that, you're starting out next week with 3 extra bonus points as well. So, where are you trying to set you up here for these next couple of weeks? Coming to, I think, we're going to go to Richmond and Las Vegas.
Richmond's going to be a struggle. I'm never good there, but it's just going to be about survival and keeping the car clean and stuff. But all of that, it's just going to be pretty much keeping the car clean, and these bonus points definitely help. All that, I'm trying not to think ahead, but I think in every series, with how we got some road courses sprinkled in, if I just make it out of the round of 13, I'll make it into the round of 10, I think, or round of 7. So with a bunch of road courses, if I have just, click off some good days there, and, not, screw the pooch on the second race in that round, I think I'll be fine. But yeah, these bonus points definitely don't hurt, especially going into the worst round of the whole chase. So hopefully I can back up this run.
All right, bud. 10-4. Liam Sheen leads 31 laps out of the scheduled 136 here tonight to his first ever Cup Series victory. Congratulations, buddy. But before we let you go, any sponsors you want to thank here for tonight?
I want to thank Total Downforce Racing. Really wasn't a good day for us. We couldn't run the 24, but this makes it better. Total Downforce, Hayden Riley. Got to thank Garrett. Finally got a win running for his team, so finally got him a win. So we got at least a car and a chase and everything. But also want to apologize to AJ. I know that was a sketchy block going into 3, but coming down to crunch time like that, it's what you got to do. So I'm sorry to him. I'm definitely sorry to Basin too. He had some fresh tires there, but would have been one hell of a battle. But yeah.
All right, about 10-4. Liam Sheen rounds himself out in victory lane.
One more thing. I want to thank everybody in this league. I want to thank you. I want to thank Dewey. I don't know how many more interviews I'm gonna get, but overall, it's a lot of fun racing in this league. I know the future really isn't certain, but if this is the last interview I get, I want to thank all of you guys. This league means a lot, and yeah, that's it.
All right, bud. 10-4. Liam Sheen rounds himself out here in first place. We'll go ahead and see you coming to your next race, bud.
Thanks.
That was a long time coming for
That's right.
that one machine, and we'll skirt ourselves back to our regular season champion, Nick Miller in the 95. We'll bring him up in here. Nick, got a copy?
Yeah.
Man, you made your way through the field on those fresher tires, but you couldn't quite get past that one of Liam. You think if you had a couple more laps under green, you could have gotten there, or do you think that just those 2-lap stints just weren't enough?
Probably needed like 3 or 4. I mean, the one where I kind of blocked AJ on the restart and was able to like pull away with just me and Liam. I figured if I had one more lap to build the momentum, I could have like got under him on the exit or something. And then the caution came out, and then we just kind of got screwed after that. Yeah, and then the green-white-checkered. After what Liam did to AJ, I kind of thought, well, if he's gonna race everyone else around him like that, I might as well try to race him a little dirty. And I tried to move him, and it did not work at all.
Yeah, we saw you hit the apron, but despite coming up short in second, you are the regular season champion here for the RaceLab Cup Series. So congratulations to you on picking that up here after these first 13 races. So what are you going to have to do over these last 7 to try to get yourself the overall championship?
Just stay consistent as always. I mean, it's about all you can do in these type of chase races. It's not like whatever it was. I don't know. What year was it where they just used to be like no rounds, just straight out?
From like 2004 to 2013?
Yeah, it's not like that. So you really just have to be consistent in each round and hope you're up top in points.
Well, for you, you are on top of the points. It'll just be a matter of whether or not you can stay there. But certainly a run like this certainly will help in that department. Before we let you go tonight, any sponsors or people you want to thank here?
SPM. Corey Long was up there with me today. He was helping with the fuel runs and just a little bit of spotting. Yeah, I can't wait to get into the chase with these guys. They're a fun group to race around and race with. So, can't wait.
All right, Nick Miller, runner-up here tonight at Chicagoland, but the RaceLab's Cup Series regular season champion. Hope to see you back here for the rest of the chase.
Sir.
All right, and we'll scroll ourselves back to 4th place because 3rd place of Brody Gardner is not in the waiting room. So we'll go ahead and drag in Justin Johnson, who is in prime position to get himself a nice finish here tonight, and indeed he does. So, Justin, you got a copy?
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Justin, man, what a finish for you and that whole 33 team. You round yourself out P4 after starting yourself at P9. You were as low as 21st place, but luckily rebounded all the way up to 4th. So, my goodness, what a run for you. And just walk me through that final restart.
Man, well, I was just, trying to get a good restart with Liam, and maybe I could clear Nick off of turn 2. That didn't happen, but I'm still glad I got a top 5.
That's right. It worked out to your favor. Of course, a lot of big contenders wrecking out. Of course, Omar Diallo and Hunter Johnson. As soon as those two were out, the whole game for being up front was up for grabs. And luckily unfortunate for you, you run yourself out in 4th. But regardless, still a solid run here, especially in the Cup Series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this track. It was actually a lot of fun. I was up P6, P8 earlier in the day. And what you said, with all those wrecks happening, it just played out in my favor.
Yep, that's right. Took advantage of all the opportunities, and you round yourself out P4 here tonight. Congratulations, Justin Johnson rounds himself out in 4th. But before we let you go, any sponsors want to thank you for tonight?
Actually, I just want to thank Mark's Frimpong for spotting me through that whole race. He made a lot of good calls and just put me in that position as well.
All right, bud. 10 for Justin Johnson in P4 after starting himself all the way back in 9th. We'll go ahead and see you coming to your next race, bud.
Thank you.
What a race.
Exactly. My goodness.
Now, we had a crazy race last night at Bristol, and probably an equally as crazy race tonight at Chicagoland. But this weekend and this chase cutoff is not over yet. We've got one more here for the Nice Design Series to figure out who the 13 drivers in the chase will be there. And that will be tomorrow at 9 at Las Vegas. And as it hits midnight here on the East Coast, thank you very much for tuning in here for tonight's race after 130 plus laps. Liam Sheen finally victorious here in the Cup Series. Congratulations once again to him on that hard-earned victory. And that'll be it here for tonight. Thank you once again for tuning in. And for Ezeckiel Reyes, I am Dewey Schramm. Thanks for watching.